Now we're going to learn how to factor a polynomial. Now there's a lot of ways that we can do this, and we're only concentrating on one in this class, and that is the greatest common factor. We're going to look for the largest term that will divide equally into all the terms of our polynomial, and we're going to factor it. Now remember when we learned how to do the distributive property, where we had a number outside parentheses, and we were going to clear the parentheses by multiplying the number on the outside by each term inside. So 3 times 2 was 6, and we kept the x. 3 times 5 was 15. And our final answer was 6x plus 15 because nothing there would combine. Factoring is going backwards. I want to start with what was the answer, and I want to make it into a multiplication problem. So I'm going to have a number multiplied times a polynomial. If I have 2 terms out here, I'm going to have 2 terms inside my parentheses. I look at my numbers, the 6 and the 15. And I have to figure out what is the largest number that will go into 6 and 15. Now we can kind of cheat because we know what the answer is supposed to be from up above. But 3 is the biggest number that will go into both of those evenly. Now I'm going to do kind of a fill-in-the-blank distributive in my mind. 3 times whatever term I have here needs to give me 3x when I multiply it. So I need 3 times 2 to give me 6, and I need to have an x in it to make it 6x. I have a positive sign. I want to carry that along. And I need to know 3 times what will give me 15 for an answer. And that's 3 times 5. So it's kind of like a little puzzle. Don't let it intimidate you any more than that. Let's look at some further examples here. 32x plus 4. I need something that goes into 32 and into 4 evenly. But not only that, I need the biggest thing that goes into 32 and 4. That's going to be 4. Now I need to know what goes here. 4 times whatever's here has to equal 32x. So 4 times 8 is 32, and I need to keep the x to make sure that when I multiply, I get the x back in my final term. I need 4 times the number over here to give me an answer of positive 4. 4 times 1 gives me 4. So my answer, if I clean it up, is just 4 times 8x plus 1. And if I want to check myself, I'll actually do the distributive property to my answer and make sure I get the question back. 5x minus 30, I need the biggest thing that goes into 5 and 30. That's going to be 5. Now 5 times what equals 5x? That would just be 5 times x. I could write it as 1x, but I like not writing anything that's not necessary. 5 times x is all I need to get 5x back. Now how am I going to get a negative 30? I have a positive 5. I need to multiply positive 5 times negative 6 to get negative 30. If you want to check yourself, and it's really nice when you're able to check yourself, go ahead and do the distributive property to your answer to make sure this is what you get. Now we're going to make a mistake on the last one on purpose so that we can show you part of it is being able to distribute and get the answer back, but that's only half of it. The number that goes on the outside of the parentheses has to be the largest number that goes into both of your terms, or we're not quite finished. Let's look at 12x minus 6, and let's say that for whatever reason we think the biggest thing that goes into both of those is just a 2. So 2 times what would give me 12x? 2 times 6 would give me 12, keep the x. And then I need to think, what times 2 would give me negative 6? 2 times 3 would give me 6, and I need a negative sign here to make it negative. If I do distributive on that answer, I will get back 12x minus 6. But this answer is still incorrect. It's incorrect because 2 isn't the largest number that went into 12 and 6. The way I could tell this is look inside my parentheses. Do 6x and 3 have a common factor? Is there a number that will go into 6 and 3? Well, the answer to that is yes. 3 will go into those. If I have a common factor left inside my parentheses, I did not pull out the largest common factor when I tried to factor it. The greatest common factor that goes into 12x and 6 is actually 6. And if I pull out a 6, 6 times 2 gives me 12, keep the x. 6 times 1 gives me 6, and it needs to be a negative so that I get a negative 6. Now, not only when I distribute do I get 12x minus 6 as my answer, but if I look inside my parentheses, I know I don't have a common factor left inside, so 6 was the largest common factor. This means I factored it correctly.